Yeah, Skarner high prio so far for Sheo. Played at 3 of his 5 total games. Ambessa the same for Carlsen in the top lane. 3 of 6 games for both of them. I'm interested to see how the mid lane matchup goes as well. Nuke is having a very good year overall, I'd say, but also talks a lot. There was a Sheep Esports interview talking about how much stress Nuke is under and how at the moment he really thinks BDS is a 5th, 6th team, and if they can make that he'll be happy, but he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders as a player. Yeah, he kind of elaborated on that on Euphoria as well, just saying he's now had to step into that kind of shot calling role for the team to be that veteran and leader, and the stress that is putting him under, and even the confidence struggles that he's had in trying to be the one to make those calls, especially when he doesn't want the team to lose. It's a lot that's on his shoulders, but we'll have to see, as no bans towards the mid lane, and also Skarner still up and available if Heretics want to go for it, but we've kind of seen teams learn how to play into Skarner at this stage, like go towards range, try and make sure that he's not going to have fun. And Varus, the champion, if you go for that poke build, can have range, so kind of nearly wanting to bait BDS into a potential Skarner pick here. Yeah, you can go, of course, the Arcane Comet, or you can go Lethal Tempo if you want to play on hit later on, depending on what the enemy composition is. There's the Skarner immediately for 1-1-3, and alongside that, BDS may be looking up towards the top side. AD carry pick here would make the most sense. Don't give away more information unless you have something that you really want to prioritize before seeing the rest of the enemy comp. Yeah, I imagine it will just be the AD carry, potentially even just go towards a Corki or something like that for Ice in that bottom lane. Ice has kind of gone for a lot of the like Jins and stuff like that though, which have kind of opened up more of a team fight style, but look, it's going to be the Corki. And now I think the question is, do you try and slam something like, well, the Jace, I was going to say, potentially for the Taliyah, but again, just try and play a range here for Heretics into the Skarner and make things a little bit easier for yourselves in those team fights. I really like Taliyah into Skarner. Yeah. I think your movement speed is so powerful. Also, something we saw a lot when Sheo was on BDS around the middle of last year was him trying out these AP jungles, and it was one of the reasons BDS were actually able to win some of their early games. Here instead, though, Sejuani is the pick. Because I was going to say, we saw the SK Lilia come through, and 1-1-3 just immediately flashed and killed Buka in his jungle early, so maybe having a few flashbacks to that one, but I think Sejuani's still good. Strong front line, ability to actually set up for your team as well. And Azir, not a bad shout as well, one of the high priority mid lanes. So Heretics already setting up for a strong team fight composition, and it's going to be on BDS now to try and disrupt that. As Nuke going to go for the Taliyah. This is something that he's been very strong on, and I think it's something that opens up then for BDS to try and play through their strong early game, because I think that's where BDS have been most successful, is in the early stages. It's kind of more when it gets to those team fights and those mid-game map movements that they've started to struggle. Which is interesting, because last year we talked about them a lot as a team that does the same thing, gets to mid-game, team fights well, is solid and stable as a cohesive unit. Obviously there are changes, right? 1-1-3 and Irrelevant joining the team alongside Parus makes things a little bit more tricky for them overall. Especially when these are kind of the core parts of your team fight. It's like, hey, we are setting up the front line, we're the ones that kind of is dictating the flow, and it's Nuke and Ice who are providing that DPS in the back. So if they aren't marking people correctly, or they end up jumping over a wall that they should have, suddenly those team fights can get quite chaotic. And I think that's where we've kind of seen Nuke and Ice struggle sometimes in fights to open up as successfully as they would like to. Totally agree with you there. We have junglers and the bot lane alongside mid locked in for either teams. Support ban coming out from BDS. Get rid of the Leona. So good at sticking onto people and works really well with Sejuani as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Rell ban as well, although Rell a little bit weaker into Taliyah because of that unraveled earth, whereas Leona can chuck a solar flare down, get the stun, and then go for the follow-up. Yeah, I think for BDS, they are, I was about to say, they banned the Braum and set themselves up for the Rell kind of pick up here, but I think the other side is setting up for Ambessa pick. You're getting rid of the Jace. Yep. Wouldn't be surprised to see, okay, I was going to, Renekton or Gnar ban, and then just kind of say, okay, well, we can take the Ambessa for Carlsen, and he'll be relatively happy in team fights. So we get the Rell, I think we get Ambessa, maybe an Alistair answer for Stend, and then it's a case of Irrelevant more than likely going back towards his Gnar, which has been his go-to in these matchups. It also helps him in having a strong top lane matchup. He's fallen off since last year, I would say, as Irrelevant, and I think a lot of that is he's not garnering the same leads he used to directly from the top lane. Well, I think the issue more so is his role in what was SK is very different to his role in BDS. Yeah. BDS are still playing for objectives and they want to set up for team fights, and this is where you are now
acting more or less in the skirmishes and the 1v1, which is where I think Irrelevant still shines. It's more so about, hey, am I marking my man? Am I entering at the right times? Am I using or creating space and using pressure in these fights well? And I think this is now what Irrelevant has to learn on BDS to try and slot into that system, and it's going to take some time to learn.
Yeah, it definitely is. For the moment, though, he is going to be playing up into that Ambessa. BDS looking to lock in the Renata. Heretics looking to lock in the Renata here as well. Good into dive. Okay as well, ranged into melee matchup in that bot lane. Can struggle a little bit later on in the game, but will stop the Skarner and the Rell in their tracks. Gwen is the pick for Irrelevant. It's the second time we've seen him play at this split. Last time did go pretty well. He didn't die and they won the game. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's not ever a bad look, but I'm kind of surprised at the, start Renata. I expected the Alistar because if you end up getting locked up by the Skarner, you can pop the ultimate, the Unbreakable Will, get out of it, and then you can actually interrupt Skarner as well for a lot of those big moments that Skarner has. So I thought that would be the pick here, and still answers to the Rell, but going for the Renata means that, yes, you've got kind of the handshake and the hostile takeover to buy space, but with the Gwen now picked up, you get way less value out of that ultimate as she can just hollowed mist and avoid all that hostile takeover.
What it does give you, though, is a winning bot lane. Varus Renata into Rell and Corki should be winning for the Varus Renata. Obviously, the Gatling gun from the Corki can make sustain trains a little bit difficult in the early game, but you have good poke, you have ranged into melee support. Whenever the Renata's jumping in, you just handshake her and make sure she can't get onto your AD carry. I expect a lot of bot side pressure here from Heretics. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Sheo spending quite a lot of the early game down there.
Yeah, just to make sure they're safe. Because as you say, you want to be able to get that push, you want to be able to make sure you're safe. And especially if Parus, now I don't know what his runes are, but if he ends up trying to burn an early flash onto either of these bot laners, I think that's where you can open up then for 113 to start making visits bot side as well. So you have to be very careful with Heretics and ensuring that bot lane success.
Well, let's get on into the action. First game of the week, first game of the day. Heretics taking on BDS in a battle of the mid to bottom table. Top 6 make it through to our playoffs. Still a few weeks before we get to that point, but a win against a team like this so vital. We call them 6-point games in sports that have 3 points for a win, because you're knocking the team that would be challenging you down 3 points, and you're getting 3 points for yourself. It's a 2-win game. We could call it a 2-win game.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You've got to win the game. That's why it's a 2-win game. No. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. Look at the runes, it's Hex Splash. So probably will look to burn one of those early flashes.
Yeah, so that's why I was waiting to see what Parus' runes were. Because as you say, like if you flash on towards Stend and Stend has to flash away, suddenly you're setting up really nicely for 113 to come into that bot side. And of course, you've got multiple different angles. You can come in over here, you can come through this wall as well, and just make it really difficult for Heretics to try and play through that within bot side. It looks like at the moment trying to get some control over bot lane, so then they can start that push nice and early.
Yeah, trying to get positioned further up here. Stend will pop the oracles to clear out any vision. Sheo is going to put a ward in the river as well to make sure that he's not being invaded. But this is something you really want to do when you're playing ranged into melee. You just want as much control as far up in the lane as possible. If you don't have control over this bush, so say there was still a ward in this bush for BDS, when Stend steps out to auto attack, he then can't jump back out of vision into the bush, so the minions would aggro onto him, which causes wave dynamics to mess up, causes a bunch of different things to be a little bit harder. Parus did dismount to get that shield early on, but you can see the damage already coming out from Flakked and Stend. Ice is not going to be in the best of shapes early on here. Yeah,
taking a bit of a worse for wear trade. The bone blading making sure the Stend stays nice and healthy in the back end of that. So I think for bot side, we're already saying going to be pushed, but 113 starting on top side means that he should be moving bot, but I think it's a good answer from Sheo to, again, as you were alluding to, start to shift his attention towards bot nice and early. Is Irrelevant abusing these new Gwen mechanics? Oh well, they're old new Gwen mechanics that have come back in with just how annoying the E cooldown is for this Gwen.
Yeah, that skip and slash does so much work, and you get the 1,000 cuts off as well. You get a full channel of that with the Q. Oh, absolutely deadly. You can see Flakked and Stend though already getting the push down here. As you say, both the junglers pathing down towards this bottom side as well. And talking of the junglers, it has kind of been Sheo's, 113's run of the map so far here in Spring. He's had exceptional performances in the early game, getting BDS ahead.
And I think it's the fact that he's been so good at tailoring his pathing to the different situations. Like against SK, he ends up losing his topside quadrant, so he immediately goes for a evade, has the support from Parus to set himself up for success. He's been very good at finding not only plays in bot, but on the top side of the map for Relevant as well. Like, he has been everywhere for this squad, and I think it's now going to be on Sheo to try and cover that, because Sheo has been very consistent for Heretics in trying to support his lanes in the early stages, but sometimes it can feel like he has to be everywhere at once, and no jungler alive can manage that.
Yeah, when everywhere's bleeding, you can only pick one place to put the tourniquet, right? Doesn't really work because you could put on multiple tourniquets, but we're going to pretend that was a good analogy. As Irrelevant is causing Carlsen to bleed a little bit here in the top lane. Not fully exsanguinated for now, but with Stend and Flakked having the push in bot, Sheo can make his way to the first Scuttle Crab and should be able to secure this one pretty sharpish. Would possibly look for a dive. Ice only has Cleanse. Parus has the Ignite. 113 spotted as he works his way across here.
So this is nice. You can see 113 was considering going for that top crab to try and answer for Sheo taking his on the bottom end, but wanted to stick around because he was a little nervous with Ice at that health bar that Sheo would try and make something happen. So nice shadowing from 113 there to make sure Heretics couldn't blow up in this spot.
And stops the recall coming out from Sheo as well to make sure that their tempo is about the same as they both make their way up towards that top side Scuttle Crab. Going to be a little bit harder for Sheo to secure that one because Irrelevant's pushed out top. Nuke's got the push in mid at the moment as well. And Nuke has already teleported, so won't be able to get straight back to this lane. But we'll see, actually, if 113 decides to contest the Scuttle Crab, because Sheo is making a beeline for it, and 113 instead decided Krugs were the dish of the day.
Yeah, I think with just both of his solo laners on reset, he didn't feel fully comfortable going for it. Carlsen and Kamiloo both had the teleports available, so he's like, look, we'll take it easy and just try and get out onto the map quicker again. So we'll have to see what he can do with the extra couple of seconds he picked up by essentially skipping a camp. But again, already BDS going for a swap, but this is something we've seen consistently more coming through when you're in these bad matchups, which Ice and Parus clearly are. Just swapping to try and get them out of that situation. You also set yourself up for potential early grubs, and it's kind of the answer to lane swaps when lane swaps got hit in the early stages.
Yeah, importantly, the lane swap mechanics where you're getting half as much gold and half as much experience and the tower's much tankier falls off at about 3 minutes anyway, so you can swap anytime after that, and it's not true lane swapping, you know, it's kind of this bastardized form of it. But as you say, it does give you prior up towards that top side. Flakked probably looking for this place and then will recall afterwards, but Irrelevant doing a good job of clearing out the wave in his face. You can see Stend actually already working his way up towards that top side. So perhaps Flakked will catch one more wave as Carlsen catches this one crashing under the tower, and then maybe go up towards those grubs.
Yeah, I think the problem for BDS right now is they have no idea where Stend is. 113 was hovering bot because he wasn't sure if there was going to be a dive onto Irrelevant, but now still they haven't really spotted where he is. I think actually Parus might have just seen him. So BDS knows that this is going down, but aren't really in the position to trade on the opposite side.
BDS are bringing all 5 members across here. Weaver's wall coming out as well. Flakked's on the wrong side of that wall, and he's going to be abandoned by his team. A Drake for a kill on Flakked. BDS get first blood, but Heretics do secure the neutral.
And now they're going to be able to push him in and move across for those void grubs. So nicely done by BDS. And again, kind of 113 being the instigator, covering on the bot play, waiting for the push to come through. And it was Stend trying to cover for a cross map on the top side that opened up the number disadvantage for BDS at that dragon.
Carlsen's going to fight here. Good look for that public execution. You can see Stend already on those grubs alongside Sheo. With the TP coming out from Carlsen towards the bot side, Irrelevant still has teleport of his own, so if he wants to come up and make this a 5v4 in BDS's favor, he could do so. Sheo's already secured one grub though, and that's all Heretics really wanted. Just wanted to make sure that BDS weren't going to get that feat from taking these 3 grubs.
Yeah, BDS just trying to get that wave push in topside to set them up so they had the lanes in places to move across for the void grubs. Means that they lose one, but it's not the end of the world in the grand scheme of things. Kamiloo taking a little bit of hurt, but Nuke doesn't have a huge amount of mana to follow up on this.
Now Carlsen matching up again against Irrelevant in the bot lane. Sees Irrelevant with about a 600 gold lead. First blood going over to him. The Gwen accelerated towards that 2-item spike. She is stronger in the early game, but still 2-3 items is where Gwen's real power point lies.
Yeah, I think you're just going to be waiting for a little bit on BDS. I think it's going to be interesting though, because I think when I look at Heretics, like everyone scales really well into the game. Like their team fighting is insane, especially with the on-his Varus as well. But it kind of becomes a case of, can we set up on the objectives first? Because if you've got Nuke and his ability to push aside, then immediately join in. Also, Irrelevant will, as you say, start to do well into this Ambessa as the game starts to go later and later. So in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of BDS hoping to push sides and collapse first, whereas if Heretics can establish themselves in the objective beforehand, I think they're in a great spot to take those fights.
I much agree with you. The ability to poke people out as they try and get in towards the objective is really strong from Heretics, but it is a slight gold lead for BDS to kick us off. Irrelevant TPing back up to this top lane will be able to catch the wave. You can see Heretics really answering BDS's rotations, their transitions between these lanes quite a lot.
The thing is, they are answering, but it's always slightly delayed.
Yeah.
Because it was BDS who started off first, they were the ones that get to move and kind of dictate the pace. So now they push in bot, they're going to see Varus answer, probably going to look for maybe a second push here and then reset, so then they can avoid it. And all they're doing is keeping the CS even. And realistically, that's all they really want to do. And it's Carlsen who's been struggling as a result and may even struggle now.
Execution going down. Irrelevant looking for that needlework. Dashes forward. He's definitely struggling. Snip, snip. Irrelevant on the board again. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Stend pulled in. And it's Parus who secures the kill for BDS, 3-0.
Yeah, it's kind of gone disastrously in the last couple of sets for Heretics. You lose that play on top, you already were behind on CS, the 1.2k gold lead for Irrelevant. And now on the bottom side as well, where you wanted to try and set up that play, when you finally get the 2v2, and it goes absolutely disastrously as well. Ice hiding. Basically, Heretics think Ice is reset to avoid the 2v2 again, but they just have 1-1-3 set up. Oh, the Chains of Corruption going wide as well from Flakked. But it's Stend who was just a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, I don't think Chain of Corruption, obviously it sucks that it went wide, but I don't think it changes anything there, right? You've already got the CC down onto Stend. He didn't burn either of his summoners to get out. Flakked, though, now with no flash, and Parus and Ice having theirs still available. Looks like they're going to open out through mid-Rift Maker first for Irrelevant. He is a mile ahead of anyone else in this game, and you talked about his ability to lane, his strength in skirmishes. I think we're seeing that on fine display.
Yeah, I mean, this Gwen is in an insane spot now, and I don't think the Stend can really answer. And now it looks like it's actually going to be, well, I was curious if it was going to be Heretics who are going to play these lane swaps once again to try and get Stend, or sorry, get Carlsen out of this bad matchup. But it looks like they're just going to try and set up on mid lane. And on the other side as well, 1-1-3, I think has been playing a little bit too much TFT and has bought overflowing belts, because that's a lot of Giants belts.
He needs two more to get there, man. 2 more. Your Giants belt will give 15% extra HP.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Excellent. New set, by the way. Really good.
Really good.
Really enjoy it.
Really,
I will say some of the silhouettes are a little bit hard to follow. Nidalee and Neferi look relatively similar. There's a few of them, but I like the set.
But if I just play Rengar, I look for the jumpy cat.
Ah, the jumpy cat.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What are you playing, Executioners?
Yes, yeah, Executioner reroll is a little
makes sense. I'm a Nitro buddy. I like my little T-Rex appearing way too late in the game, not doing anything. For the moment, though, it's setting up around these objectives for these two teams. They can't wait for the carousel to get their items. Instead, they have to farm up. There's Grubs up in 9 seconds, Drake in 13. And BDS have vision control around the entirety of that mid lane river. You can see Stend walking across here. Parus going to come across. Handshakes gets him back. Handshooken, handshaked, handshook back.
I am shook at either way.
And, understandable. 1-1-3. Looking for Sheo and Stend. Will force them out again. Can take away this control ward. 1-1-3 still stepping forward. Magnus Storm onto Flakked. Remember, this man has no flash and he hasn't got a hope in hell of surviving. BDS get their 4th on the board.
Well played by BDS. So Heretics try to brute force the 3-man in mid to get mid priority and then move down. But BDS, thanks to the push on bot side, move Irrelevant in. They have numbers advantage, and Flakked caught out as they try to transition into the skirmish.
It's so doomed as well, though. Kamiloo TPs to the mid lane to cover. He then loses a wave, 2 waves and a plate to top lane. Carlsen's now going to be dived on the bot side because they saw all of Heretics moving up towards the top side. Irrelevant's going to get another plate. Public execution going in from Carlsen. The needlework. Parus going to tank up that tower. But BDS, they're just happy to take more of these plates away in the face of Carlsen. Yes, they didn't get the neutral objectives, but they got so much gold. 3,000 gold ahead now with BDS.
Yeah, and sure, Sheo is going to get these void grubs, but realistically, I don't think Heretics are going to get a sniff at these towers in quite a while.
He's got 4 now.
He's working towards it, let's go. But yeah, I think for BDS, they are in such a commanding position right now. They can get push on mid, move over towards the dragon. You've got first items that are starting to be complete across the board, including Nuke having that Rod of Ages now done. So you're in a commanding position, and I just don't really know how Heretics try and break this, because it feels like they're late to the party. The tools they could use, like the TP from Kamiloo, they're burning when it's too late.
They really are. The Dragon is available to Heretics though, so they'll get their second on the board, at least delaying BDS. You know, BDS didn't get 4 grubs, so no mites are going to spawn. Didn't get any of the first 2 drakes, so Heretics will get that portion of the feats, but not going to complete it yet. Obviously, we have the first tower now determining which team gets that feat. Feats of strength, total feat. All of the feet.
And nothing but the feet.
Nothing but the feet. You can't handle the feet.
I think, yeah, BDS are going to handle everything fine at this stage.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for Heretics, because we kind of said, look, Sheo needs to be in a position to try and cover what 113 is doing, but I think 113 has actually been doing a great job of covering what Sheo actually was trying to implement, like a lot of those bot side dives. He was in position, then we got that dragon fight, and I think BDS have just been doing a great job of reading what Heretics have tried to do throughout this game, and then set up their own plays as well on side lanes. Like, it's been a really strong early game from BDS, and this is kind of what we've almost come to expect with BDS. Even though they may not be sitting top of the table, the early games have been spectacular. It's just getting to this point now and how they push these leads forward. Sheo trying to cover for a dive with 113 though.
113 looking for Carlsen here. We'll get him back. The Edge of Ishtal pulls him out with the Impale as well. Glacial Prison dodged with the Hallowed Mist. Sheo though can't avoid the Needleworks. Pulled back with the Magnet Storm, and now Irrelevant's continuing the dive. Stend's on his way across. Irrelevant will look for this tower, and that should be first tower blood over to BDS. They get the kill, they get the tower, and then they just walk away.
Yeah, cool guys don't look at explosions, you know, they just fade off into the distance beautifully. And even they try to shift Flakked up to cover as well, which means that he didn't even really get the control over mid either. So for BDS, not only are they getting the leads, it's, you know, small CS leads starting to open up as well, as Heretics consistently miss out on these waves as they move for plays. But here, pull Carlsen out. They don't go for the Salmon of the Terror. 113, good patience to wait for the skips to go through from Carlsen, and then Irrelevant predicting Carlsen's movement here as well. And Parus just coming over the wall. More for moral support, but also does push Sheo out of the lane so they can continue wailing away on this turret.
Yeah, it gets him down to half HP, and he realizes he can't really defend that anymore. For anyone wondering about this Giant's Belt build, by the way, Skarner scales off his maximum health and his bonus health. Like, his passive does, his Q does, his E does as well. Like, he has a bunch of scaling, so instead of going for something like the Heart Steal, just crack out a bunch of extra health.
Yeah.
You know, Heart Steal, often we don't see many stacks picked up on it in the jungle, at least in professional play. Here, just get as much maximum health and bonus health as you can in the early game, and it gives you that extra damage output. For the moment, though, he isn't really able to use that, apart from clearing out his jungle, as he is just going to go for a rotation. Next objective up in about 20 seconds time would be the Rift Herald, but it looks like Heretics, realizing BDS might be setting up on the top side of the map, are going to try and defend, try and push towards this bot lane tier 1.
BDS are bringing Irrelevant to the party though. They really want to make sure that they're able to deny a third dragon and try and set themselves up for a little bit more of a objective control, because I think that's the one thing that has been lacking for them, is actually getting these objectives for themselves. It's 2 dragons and 4 grubs to Heretics, but now they have the control. It looks like Carlsen going to start pushing out topside, so someone will need to go up and catch that wave relatively soon, but at least you're getting that control of the bottom side that BDS needed.
Both Nuke and Irrelevant have teleport, so if they want, they can just teleport one of them up towards that top side. You can see Irrelevant shadowing Nuke. Irrelevant's actually going to be given the local gold as Glacial Prison goes down onto Parus. There's the Chain of Corruption follow-up, and a quick kill from Heretics as they find their first of the game.
Yeah, so nicely done by Sheo there to get in. You kind of had that control from BDS, but with Gwen then moving down to the bottom side, they just find that moment with onto a relatively squishy Parus in the grand scheme of things, and just the lockdown is too much.
Yeah, it's a really good pick from Heretics. Gets him a little bit of gold in Flakked's pockets. He's finished his Blade of the Ruined King. Kamiloo's finished that Nash's as well, and as you say, the scaling definitely does work for Heretics. Whether they can outscale this sort of deficit is a large question to be asked. Drake up in a minute's time. We saw 113 starting up the Rift Herald, but realizing he didn't really have the numbers on that side of the map, so backs away from it in the end.
Yeah, I do think though at least it opens up Stend to basically get the vision control that they need now. So you've got Carlsen, who's in a better position to push out topside, maybe look to contest for this dragon, and as well then the vision is there to spot out exactly what BDS are up to. Nice trade.
Carlsen might be dead. 113's on his way. Go on. through the wall. Where are you going, Carlsen? Goes in with the public execution, actually dashes away to survive with that Bloodhound step. Will manage to escape, has to burn the ultimate for it though.
Yeah, 1-1-3, tries to get up there, but as you say, ultimate now gone. Means he should have the advantage for the objective, and BDS aside. They're trying to eye up Flakked, but this is kind of where BDS, they're trying to hit multiple different places, but their vision is still quite shallow because of that pick in the mid lane. So I think at this stage, it's more of a, hey, we need to push away and group to establish vision somewhere. It looks like Ripchild is going to be their designated area of attack, but they don't really have the vision that they need to see where Heretics are going to answer from.
Yeah, Heretics is grouping up as 3 in the mid lane right now. And again, 1-1-3 starts the Rift Herald. They decide, nah, we'll get to Drake, make sure we secure that. They do have like the numbers advantage down towards this bottom side. Heretics are gonna accept their losses and just take a Rift Herald of their own. Nuke's coming across there with that teleport. Ice pulled back. Weaver's wall towards Stend as well. They look for Flakked burst. Seismic shoves him back and immediately jumps him off this mortal coil. 1-1-3 came in from the side as well, but BDS won't chase Stend any further. Instead, they will take the 3rd tower of the game.
Sheo is getting the Rift Herald though this entire time. May just, yeah, he's going to have to pull off. Doesn't quite have the damage to finish it off. So BDS, they get the pick, they get the tower, and now should get the Rift Herald as well. This, if they can continue this pressure, might be able to control the Dragonair as well, because Irrelevant, no one can touch him in a side lane. This guy's incredibly strong. Oh, Sheo
goes forward, dodges away from the seismic shove. 1-1-3 is going to slam him into the wall though, and the chase continues. Impale is available, but the BDS really want to chase this any further. The answer is a resounding no. Drake, their next objective, still didn't get the Rift Herald. It feels like a couple of times they're like, okay, we'll do this neutral. And then they're like, actually, no, we'll fight. Oh, we didn't do the neutral, and now Heretics are back out on the map.
And now, so Parus' reset got interrupted. Yeah. That's the 2nd time. Ice did get the reset off, but now Heretics have to come in with 0 vision on their support and try and contest this, and they establish no vision here. Plus Irrelevance and base.
He's not there yet. Glacial Prison hitting onto Parus there. 1-1-3's already used the Impale, and Heretics are very healthy. 1-1-3 slain where he stands. Parus has to flash away. Public execution going into Ice as well as Kamiloo chases him out. Irrelevant on the back line, but he's going to be on his lonesome in just a second. Kamiloo could look to dash back in here. Forces BDS away. Heretics get out with 5 members alive. And they killed out the enemy jungler. This could be a Drake into Ataka.
Yeah, but there you can see the lack of confidence we talked about from BDS coming into play. They don't really decide on if we're going to fight Sheo, if we're going to take the Rift Herald, are we taking resets? Everyone is making a different decision. They lose the fight, they lose the Dragon, they won't lose Atakan. At least Irrelevant can get something in mid, but this is a team that you are in control of this game, but mistakes like this slipping away. Irrelevant resetting way later than everyone else means that he's not here for the fight. Parus not having any of its troll wards mean they don't spot out this pick that that Heretics end up making. And really good job here from Carlsen in on towards Ice in the backline. Kamiloo supporting him means that then they get to separate BDS, and BDS have to retreat because this is essentially a 4v2 without Ice really able to show up into the fight.
Heretics will be buoyed by that sort of play. Still a 4,500 gold lead for BDS. They're still very much in the lead in this game. Questionable as to whether they're in control of this game anymore.
Especially when you've got 3 dragons now going over towards Heretics. Like, the potential for a soul is on the cards. Ripchild honestly may end up going over towards Heretics as well. BDS have opted in towards vision on the bottom side of the map, but there's not really anything for them to take there unless they're hoping to pick off someone. Yeah, but I think they can still shift over here. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just going to go straight for Artican. Rift Herald has been stopped, and you can see Heretics working their way down here as well. They might look to contest that Artican at 8,000 HP right now. Kamiloo clearing out a bit of vision. Parus there on the front line. It's down to probably about 4,000 or so, 5.5. BDS don't quite have the damage without Irrelevant here. And Heretics will happily take up the mantle of tanking the Artican for now. No TP on Irrelevant as well as he's worked his way through that mid lane. He's on his way across Glacial Prison into the hostile takeover. Sheo gets the smite and now the false life on all 5 as Carlsen dives the back line. Parus falls as he dives in. Ice doing a lot of work here though. And that's all of the false lives gone already. Carlsen flashing across, trying to kill off Nuke. Can't quite get the damage in, nor can he take down Ice.
So Heretics do get the steal, but every single one of them will be sent packing. No, well, apart from Parus, nobody on BDS went down, so the gold swing definitely in favor of BDS, but they end up essentially starting this up. The TP from Carlsen comes in and pushes BDS back, and it then just becomes a bit of a 50-50. Sheo keeps 113 back a little bit with the ultimate. It's a good engage from Parus, and Irrelevant getting there just in time with this setup from 113 seals the deal. Like, even with Kamiloo trying to buy space with the Emperor's Divide, it's just not quite enough. And then a few flashes have to burn in this situation as Carlsen desperately trying to kill anyone, but now Riptide on the cards. BDS have got the reset in. Carlsen has no TP and he's in the bottom side. Irrelevant's just about to come up.
You can see the power of BDS's composition though if Irrelevant has a little bit of time on that backline. Magnetstorm into 4-man Impale into the Needleworks. Irrelevant absolutely shredding through. That Nash's Tooth Rift make a combination so powerful for him. Rod of Ages and Seraphs both fully stacked for Nuke alongside a fully stacked Muramana for Ice with that Triforce. The only people with 2 items on Heretics are Sheo, who's got the Kanik Rukun and the Heartsteel with 96 stacks, we'll give him credit for that, and Kamiloo, who has gone Nashers into Leandries.
BDS starting up the Riptide. I think they're in a perfectly fine spot at this stage. The wave on bot side was pushed in very deep, so Carlsen had to try and collect that, and now with Irrelevant's TP back up, BDS would always have the numbers advantage. Sheo trying to support Kamiloo so he can continue pushing forward here, but you do have to be a little careful because they don't know where Ice is. He is now kind of taking the long route around to move up towards his top side while he takes red buff, but Heretics just trying to keep every wave they can off of these inner turrets.
Yeah, but all we're really waiting for now is that number in the top right corner, mirrored almost exactly by the number in the top left corner. About a 10-second difference between the Baron and the Soul spawn here. Obviously, BDS are yet to pick up a Drake so far. Irrelevant starting to harass Carlsen down. Public execution going in, though. Look at the damage from the Needleworks. With Parus on his way, the Ignite ticking won't be enough. Carlsen expediates and gets the Shield Weaver's Wall coming out from Nuke. Kamiloo will dodge to the other side of it. He did TP behind, but couldn't find any action.
Yeah, BDS using a hell of a lot of tools now to try and force this play on the bottom side. They need to get something to work here because 45 seconds until that Dragon. Oh, 113!
113 jumping in, but the hostile takeover. He's met his maker. Heretics able to pick up a kill. 113 going way too greedy.
BDS, it was a sunk cost fallacy. At this stage, you just needed to back it on up. So I was about to say, I think BDS are in a decent spot. Like, oh, do you get caught here? Sheo? No, a little late on this buzz.
Calculated.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But the thing is, so Irrelevant was winning out so hard in the 1v1 that at any point in time, Irrelevant could push in bot and move to Dragon and solo Dragon. You can test everything.
Really nice tempo bait here, but then the Glacial Prism goes down. Irrelevant able to dodge away from it. Redemption onto Sheo will heal him back up to about half HP. 113 still 7 seconds away from spawning. Irrelevant's Needlework is 2 seconds away.
Kamiloo still has the ultimate though. He could be. Oh no, he's caught!
Magnetstorm immediately. Stend gets one. Irrelevant gets the other. And now the Drake is secured by Heretics, but BDS will want their lives for it. Sheo trying to back in the bush. Irrelevant dashes across the wall and Sheo will fall as well. It will be 5 for none in a 4v5, but the soul goes to Heretics.
This game is getting a little chaotic, but holy moly, that flick from Nuke was clean. Catching Kamiloo. I was about to say Kamiloo has that ultimate available. He's the sole person that can maybe make that engage happen for Heretics, and that could be the moment to turn the game around, but ends up immediately getting caught here by Nuke. That sets up for Parus to follow through, and Irrelevant is snipping his way through everyone here alongside Ice, just providing that DPS in the backline. Soul does go towards Heretics, which is nice, but it's Baron that goes over to BDS after this fight.
Great play all round from Nuke. Sheo there flashing at the last moment, thinking maybe he could get over the wall, but face plants, and it gives a triple kill over to Irrelevant, who now has the Shadow Flame complete alongside that Riftmaker Nash's combination. A 10,000 gold lead for BDS. And with the Baron for the next 2.5 minutes, you have to feel some of these inhibitor towers are going to start falling.
Yeah, especially, as you say, with Irrelevant being this far ahead in the build path, he is a one-man army on a side lane. So having that Baron buff opens him up so much more to be that threat. You can even have Nuke shadow him to a certain extent if you want, but I think at this stage, Ice, go mid, Nuke to one side, Irrelevant on the other, and just spread Heretics thin.
Totally agree with you. And Nuke is going to go down towards this bottom side. He's having a very solid split so far. Irrelevant's up towards top, so it's a 1-3-1. An older strategy, but it checks out. As often we see the 1-4 more these days. But as you say, Nuke with the Weaver's Wall, with the teleport can always join a fight. Irrelevant doesn't have that teleport at his disposal. Carlsen and Sheo are looking for him. Glacial Prison immediately. They jump onto Irrelevant and they shut him down. That's how you punish a 1-3-1. Find one of the side laners and lie in wait.
Yeah, the Ice hadn't pushed in mid lane. Oh, Sheo's got him again.
Ice caught with the smite.
No, he's just going to be able to back away. But I think nicely done. Ice hadn't pushed in mid. There's no pressure on bot lane. So you can put that extra man in the top side to make sure you can find the pick. And now it opens up Carlsen to alleviate all that pressure. Baron buff timer's ticking down. You can see 1 minute 20 left on the Red Bull Baron power play. So at this stage, I don't really think BDS are going to get much out of this. So yes, you lost the Baron, but you got a soul and you hold on to all your towers. Yeah, well, apart from one, I suppose.
Yeah, you lost one. That's not the end of the world, right? If you're getting towards level 16s, 3 items on your key carries, Flakked with the on-hit Varus build as well is going to absolutely shred if he's given time in a team fight. Obviously, it's 1-1-3's Parus and Irrelevant's job to make sure that he doesn't have much of that time at all. Carlsen once again lying in wait in a bush here. As soon as he sees Nuke, I think he's going to dance his way away with that Drake Hound step.
So BDS trying to overload on the top side of the map, see if they can find someone as they try to contest on towards Nuke. But again, it's kind of this mismatching of the waves that's causing them issues. Because Carlsen now happy to go on mid. Oh, Sheo though, kind of face checking a little, but they already have push in mid to then jump towards top wave and get the numbers advantage there. It's this back and forth that Heretics are defending.
Ooh, Chain of Corruption. Down onto 1-1-3. He does still have the flash and will use it to dash away from that hostile takeover coming out from Stend. But 1-1-3 now longer has that tool at his disposal for a flash impale combination.
It does mean though with Irrelevant now pushing in the bottom side, you've still got all ultimates available on BDS. And they, well,
Weaver's Wall.
That one.
Flakked doesn't have flash, has got to use the cleanse, trying to get away. Redemption will save his life. The impale only onto Stend. That is a kill over to BDS, and now they're knocking on the doors of these inhibitors. You can see Irrelevant just shredding through the inhibitor tower and the inhibitor. Mid lane inhib and its tower will be forfeit as well. The base now in tatters over a single pick, really, onto Flakked. The follow-up onto Stend, costing him his life. You can see the damage coming out as well from Nuke and Ice with those missiles and that threaded volley.
Yeah, a couple of these picks onto Flakked have been crucial in this game. He gets caught out at the start, just the start of that. Tower is now falling. Irrelevant gets the clear out bot side. And now with a minute and a half until Elder Dragon, it becomes significantly more difficult for Heretics to hold on to control of this game. They never really had it from the start, but even just trying to find something becomes much more difficult.
Nuke has been absolutely on point with his seismic shoves. He is secretly a member of MI5, isn't he? Yeah, 008. He's done a very good job of assassinating his targets when he needs to. I think it was Sean Bean who played 008. There was a 008. Because
I do remember
the 00s are just the agents, right?
Yeah.
So 007 is James Bond. I think there was a 008 in one of the movies as well.
I'm terrible with actors' names, so I can probably see his face and think about him.
I would say it's Sean Bean. It's probably not. It was probably before his time. But also, he didn't get killed. Maybe he did get killed in the movie. There's this trend where Sean Bean just gets killed in all of the movies, you know? Yeah.
I think that's why everyone was kind of like, oh yeah, this is just bound to happen at the start of Game of Thrones.
It's just not immediate at some point.
Yeah.
And Nuke hasn't fallen into that common pitfall of 008s as of yet. Nor has Ice, both of them unkilled through this entire game. BDS setting up around the Elder 20 seconds before it spawns. Heretics trying to wrestle some semblance of control. But they're going to have to do it through the bot lane, which is not the easiest way to get control of the map. You can see Irrelevant pushing through mid, BDS doing it by the numbers. That's what you want to do, because it gives you so much more entry through the rest of the map.
Yeah, Heretics are trying to swivel around basically this red buff area to protect Kamiloo. There's super minions on that bottom side, so he has to get a fairly decent sized push on the bottom lane to make sure they're not going to knock on the Nexus as this dragon spawns. But now they're not in the best spots.
Sheo, good feet. Managed to dodge and his dancing shoes on. Kamiloo comes back with the Void Staff completed. Flakked does have the wit's end here as well. Carlsen catching midwave, has teleport to join in a fight if it does begin.
Yeah, but you've got so many angles of attack here for BDS. They're going
double impale into the Weaver's wall. Redemption coming out. Stend with a hostile takeover as well, but Flakked's already so low. He's trying to put the damage down before he falls onto Parus. He'll get it into the bear now. He's respawning. Kamiloo gets the shuffle back onto Irrelevant, but Irrelevant's still on top of him. Irrelevant will fall now 2 for 3. In the exchange, Kamiloo and Carlsen, though, both have the Ocean Soul, both healthy enough to continue to push back. Nuke with a seismic shot onto Carlsen, doesn't quite get him onto that unraveled earth, and Kamiloo continues to put those soldiers in. Flash into the Ishtal's impact. Carlsen finds another. It's all on Kamiloo, but he can't do much. Nuke with the flash forward to get his first kill of the game.
It was so close to going the way of Heretics, but BDS barely able to bring it out on the other side, and now they're going to try and dance their way with the health bars through this Elder Dragon, but even the super minions are on the Nexus turrets as well. But we'll see it here. 113 steps forward, gets the impale, and as they go through, I thought this was going to be the end of it. It's a good engage from Parus over the top, but that redemption, keeping Flakked up for so long, means they're able to buy a little bit of space. Then he also gets the second lease at life. Carlsen jumps into the backline onto 113 and Nuke, and Irrelevant just can't get the kill onto Kamiloo in the backline to try and help it out. And here, I thought maybe they do have a chance, but the reaction times from 113 were exceptional. Carlsen gets hit by the seismic shove, but as Carlsen flashes forward, 113 immediately with the charge stuns him into the wall. And even any of those extra bit of damage going down could have sealed the deal there for Heretics, but BDS able to hold on.
Elder Drake secured for BDS. Alongside it, they will take the Baron. Heretics, he can't really fight into an Elder, even if it's only on a couple of members of BDS. They are deadly members. 9 kills between the two of them. Nuke and Ice, the ones with that Elder Dragon buff. I think actually Parus may have respawned in time to get it as well. So I was looking at our overlay, but you know, it's a Rell. You know, it doesn't really matter that they have the Elder.
Look,
as the support
tick,
in that case, you're feeling really happy, but otherwise doesn't really matter much. Inhibitors up in 30 seconds time in both mid and bot, but BDS will put their eyes on the top lane.
Yeah, Renata just going to start to push that wave in, try and draw Heretics across to deal with that mid wave. Just giving it that Baron buff as well makes it a little bit nicer. Kamiloo going to stand here though and clear it out. Ocean Drake doing work in these sorts of situations where you can just continuously heal up and make sure that you're not losing too much, but the slow chip is happening.
It's already down to half HP. 113 flashes forward into the Magnus Storm. There's the follow-up you're looking for. Parus gets one, almost falls himself, but is able to survive.
And the double to 4 kill! Double to that Elder Dragon doing work, baby!
I was going to not say it because I thought it was a little bit spurious in the moment, but you're right. The Elder Dragon for Parus did do a lot of work. He has 3 kills, and Nuke and 113 only have 2 between them. Parus is the superior player. I'm hearing nothing more about it. We'll have another look at this because Glacial Prison goes on to 113 to kick it off.
Yeah, it's a 113, decent good impale, then the follow-up from Parus, and also then there's the extra damage coming through, the Ignite ticking down as well as Parus fades off into the distance, managing to hold on to his life as well. That's the last inhibitor exposed. And Elder Dragon making all the difference in this one.
Yeah, Elder has just expired. I do like the Ignite walk away from the guy in the bailout to get the resurrection into the Elder Drake. That's swaggerlicious, as the kids say.
I don't think they say that.
I'm pretty sure they do. I've heard Hysterics say it once or twice. It must be true.
The man who's turned 30 today.
Oh, true, actually, yeah. Happy birthday, Jake.
Yeah.
Hope you have a good cast.
Everyone go wish him a happy birthday on whatever social media you use.
Yeah. Blue Sky X, previously known as Twitter. It's funny that X is previously known as something. Amuses me. But BDS are looking to become previously known as the team that hasn't won this game. Because then they would be the team that has won this game as they push towards this bottom side. The inhibitor in the top lane, 3.5 minutes away from spawning. The Baron buff remaining for 30 seconds. Irrelevant's going to be the one pushing through mid. Well, 3.5, almost 4 items on both Kamiloo and Flakked, and BDS don't have that Elder Dragon at their backs anymore. Glacial Prism going down, Stend with a handshake back into the Chain of Corruption, and 113 is CC'd for an absolute Ice Age. Taken out by Heretics, who cling on to life in this game. BDS looking for that tempo play they've done a couple of times before, wait around a corner, see if someone oversteps.
Yeah, look, this is kind of the problem that we've been seeing with BDS, is like, this doesn't feel like a 12,000 gold league, right? No. It's slight oversteps, not kind of dotting their I's and crossing their T's. It's, hey, we've got push in mid with Irrelevant, but we're going to try and overforce on that bottom side. Then we get caught out. Now we end up losing all that control, right? And you could have potentially got Irrelevant to take the mid lane inhibitor, or at least drawn 2 members across. You can get bot side. It's just this lack of patience in this mid game that comes back to bite them.
It really is, and you have such long death timers at this point in the game as well. 37 minutes in, Irrelevant still 17 seconds away from coming back onto the map. And because Heretics get the time to clear out these waves, Kamiloo likely up at Rabadon's now as he does go for that base. Irrelevant will dash in onto Sheo. Kamiloo's going to stay around as well. Just mess up with their recall timing. Sheo going up and Kamiloo going down. A minute and a half before the next Elder, 2 and 10 before we get the next Baron on the Rift.
Yeah, I think at this stage it's hoping that BDS are going to learn from the last couple of pushes. It's play it slow, let Irrelevant do a lot of the work. Like a 4-item Gwen is absolutely insane. Like just let her do her thing and you should be in an okay spot. The ability to then fall back on either side is perfect as well. So at this stage, the super creeps pushing the top side are basically that 6th man for BDS, so they're going to swap Irrelevant to the bottom side, let him kind of be the push and open up with the 4 men in mid, because you want the opportunity to fall back to either Baron or the Elder Dragon off of that mid push.
And when Ice is as strong as he is as well at 5 items, well, full build with those swift marches as well, he is in such a powerful spot if he's given a little bit of time to poke away. BDS looking to see maybe if they can steal away this red, but Sheo has it on lock. 113 will back away.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even minded BDS, or sorry, Irrelevant using his TP to the bottom side just to create another point of pressure on the map, but now grouping up in the mid lane, looks like BDS just going to hard force this 5, see if they can get this mid turn.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is, okay guys, we died in the 1-3-1, we died in the 1-4. What about 0-5-0? Yeah, let's just all go towards the mid lane and see if we can win a front to back, because we are strong. You have a 4-item mid laner, you've got hostile takeover coming in from across the wall here, and look at the damage coming out from Ice. Public execution going in from Carlsen. Parus doing a good job of distracting the backline, but with the damage coming out, Parus will fall Carlsen down as well. Heretics able to take a 1-for-1 this late in the game. Nuke is low, Elder is up, Nuke has teleport. He's just, I thought he was going to stay around, but he backs around the corner to make sure that he has a safe place to TP. There's a wave pushing in the top lane, 20 seconds before that inhibitor respawns. Huge
ultimate from Stend there to buy the space that Heretics need now to contest this objective. You see the super creeps on the top side. They're the point of pressure that BDS are going to try and leverage. Someone has to back, and that job is to Kamiloo. Has the TP to still join in for the rest of the fight, but I mean, it's still 4 items onto this Azir. 23 seconds until Carlsen's available, so BDS is going to start the objective.
And Parus up in 10. Carlsen will have teleport when he respawns. Kamiloo now seen, TP's in, the inhibitor has respawned, 5,000 on the Elder. It all comes down to this. 113 trying to get him from the side, but immediately he's locked up and he will fall. Sheo gets in and steals away the Elder. And from the jaws of defeat, Heretics have found victory. Tell me whatever goddamn god they've been praying to, because the Heretics have found a miracle.
I cannot believe that Heretics are holding on in this game. They refuse to go down. They've now got Elder. Baron is available. And there's still a bloody mid lane tier 1 to try and get through.
40 seconds on Nuke, 30 seconds on 113. Credit to Heretics. Every time 113 looked for a flank position, they have spotted him out. The flash under the bot lane tower, whenever he tried to get it just there, it's so good from them. And now, can they get the Nexus? 20 seconds still on Nuke. 113 coming up in 10. Ice still 20 seconds away as well. It's a 4v2 for now. Redemption coming out. Stend flashing forward, looking for Irrelevant, will get the hostile takeover onto him. Parus jumping in as well. 113 has respawned. Parus falling low. Kamiloo's going to take him out. 113 misses the Impaler, goes between the uprights, and he'll pay for that with his life. Kamiloo's looking for a little bit more. They don't really have the wave here. Flakked steps forward and immediately is met with a turret shot to the face.
They don't have a real front line. Sheo trying to very quickly run his way up mid lane to get here. Nuke just trying to keep the wave off the turret so they can deal with it piece by piece. But Ice is being shut down piece by piece. But there may be peace needed at this stage because Heretics, they're running out of waves. Sheo's here. Can he find that engage that seals the deal for Heretics?
Nuke, Irrelevant, and Ice, and a Dream. Heretics have the cannon minion, and now they've got their front line. The tank is here. Let's see what the artillery can do. Sheo steps forward, tanks the tower. Glacial Prison immediately onto Irrelevant, who's put into an icy grave. Carlsen dashing in as well. And Heretics